In this video, I'll look at elegant mesh construction and edge flow, which makes for good unwrapping and good export out to programs like Mudbox. I'll take the Eco here, who's already been unwrapped and is textured, ready for additional texture. If we open the UV editor, we can see his shells are laid out to be as distortion-free as possible. His modeling helped in this. We were able to take him and divide him or section him out into pieces that can be painted with a texture. For this exercise, we'll model a quick t-shirt on him using the symmetry modifier. I'll start out in a left view. He's lined up on the zero plane, so when I hold Control and right click and create a box on him, that box will actually be on his center line. I'll make this box roughly the height of the t-shirt where I want it, coming up sort of to his neckline, and pull up for the height. We can see in this view the box starts to take over him. We can always adjust this later. Really what I care about in this view is that the box is on his center line. I'll right click and convert this box to an editable poly. Then I'll delete the inside face. Now I'm ready for my symmetry modifier. With the box selected, I'll drop down in the modifier list and pick symmetry. In the symmetry modifier, I'll set the mirror axis to Z. We can see the box clearly mirroring across him, with the division line right on the center. We'll model the t-shirt, and then use the cloth simulator once he's been animated to make the t-shirt flow with him. Now it's time to model. I'll drop down to the editable poly and turn on the show end result toggle. I can start to add edge loops in and shape this t-shirt around him and extrude out the arms. First, on the Graphite Modeling Tools under Edit, I'll choose Swift Loop. I'll add in a loop right around the midsection, and another one right around the hips so I can flare it out decently, and maybe one more just under the armpit so he can bend nicely. Before I add more, I want to shape this. I'll go into Vertex and start to pull those vertices out to match his anatomy. I'll go into a left view as well and shape the t-shirt to him. I'll press F3 to switch over to a wireframe so I can see what I'm doing a little better. I don't want to get it exactly on, but I'd like to have it fairly fitting. That way it doesn't droop too much when I simulate the cloth. He's decently fitted. I can worry about the clipping through the mesh in a minute. I can extrude out his sleeve at this point, and that's a good idea. I'll go by polygon, pick the polygon where the sleeve would be, right-click, and choose Extrude. I'll extrude out, and then move this polygon down and shape it. Remember, as part of modeling, once you add in geometry, you've got to go and shape it as quick as possible and getting the most mileage out of it. Just adding and adding and adding geometry is going to get you an awful model that will be near impossible to unwrap. That's pretty good for his t-shirt. Maybe bring in his sleeves just a little bit. He's a rather short fellow, so the t-shirt might be a little baggy on him, but this'll work. Okay, now I'm ready for some further contouring. I haven't deleted the end of the sleeve. It actually clips through his arm, and that's good. Under Edit, I'll choose Swift Loop again, and I'll land a Swift Loop right up in the center of the model. This Swift Loop goes up the arm, across the closed sleeve, up and over the shoulder, and down the other arm. This is an example of a good modeling flow. It's all quads and all the edge loops go completely around the model seamlessly. Now I can open up those sleeves and round over his t-shirt a little bit so it's not so square. I'll pick the corners of the original box and pull them in. I like to work on one axis at a time personally. Other folks may have different approaches, but I like to be very controlled in my modeling. I'll pull the back in and push in now on the y-axis. This way I can fit his t-shirt around. I'll do that and show what it looks like before I move on. So I've shaped the t-shirt a little better around him. You can see I've got some smoothing artifacts, which I'll clear off now. I can select his whole shirt by element and scroll down to the smoothing. Under Polygon Smoothing Groups, I'll clear them all and then auto smooth, and most of it goes away pretty nicely. If we have any hard edges left over, we can always take the whole thing and put it in one group instead. Now, it is going dark at the bottom. That's because I haven't opened up the bottom or the sleeves yet. I'll do that now that I've shaped out his shoulders. Looks like I have an extra corner back there to delete. I'll take care of that in a sec. By polygon then, I'll open up the shirt. With the shirt open, it's ready for additional smoothing, additional modeling, and unwrapping. This is an example then of an all-quad mesh that's suitable for use in cloth or animation and will unwrap and transfer very nicely if needed. Here's a possible final step. If we need, and we may want to do this, we can unwrap under symmetry. That's always possible. We can also, if we want a design to span over, unwrap the whole thing, and then apply a turbo smooth. This allows us to use a low poly object for rigging and animation.